to the Oil Stream. Tom Gazzola, Hernan, Salas, YouTube Trev with you inside the EST Global HQ studios. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday. We have news on Conor McDavid. We will discuss. Lots to talk.
Sorry, boy.
Lots to talk about. Why are you sorry?
I
You're
had
not sorry. You're Hernan.
I had YouTube on.
Oh, you were listening to YouTube. YouTube Trev on?
No, I had, it's all good. I always
all
do this. Joaquin and Zach to come yell at me every show for the same thing. So my head's just, I don't know, man.
Are you puzzled and rattled by this injury diagnosis?
I am. I'm very rattled.
Okay, we'll discuss. Text us 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat if you're watching on YouTube. Of course, if you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Apple Music, as well as the EdmontonSportsTalk.com audio stream. Thank you. We appreciate you. And then if I'll do this one more time because I'm always like, I don't know about this. If you're listening to a podcast version of this show at a later date, thank you. We appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's get to the big news of the day. The Oilers back on the ice right meow in Nashville. We anticipate hearing from Chris Knobloch. It might be by the time this show is, almost wrapped up, depending on how long the Oilers want to skate. Full skate today in Nashville. They had the day off yesterday, so we might get an update from the coach of the Edmonton Oilers. But we do know this because the team put out a statement. It came in at 10:02 a.m. Edmonton Oilers statement on Conor McDavid. Edmonton Oilers forward Conor McDavid suffered an ankle injury in Monday's game in Columbus. After further evaluation in Edmonton yesterday, he is expected to return to action in 2 to 3 weeks. So 2 to 3 weeks with no McDavid.
I was right. I said ankle.
Ankle injury. Those are the things we know. We had some people diagnosing it. Some people say it was like a tibia. Others say high ankle sprain. Others saying this and that. Knee. I think Joaquin said MCL when he was playing doctor at Boston Pizza Westgate the other day while we were watching that debacle in Columbus. So you take it best case scenario if it's a 2-week situation. He obviously misses tomorrow night in Nashville. He would miss Sunday in Calgary. He would miss Monday against New Jersey at home. He would miss Wednesday against the Golden Knights at home. He would miss next Saturday in Vancouver. And then the Islanders game, and then another Nashville game on the 14th if it extends past a week, maybe even missing that game in his hometown of Toronto on November 16th. I'll ballpark it, Hernan, and say he returns Saturday, November 16th versus the Toronto Maple Leafs at Scotiabank Arena.
The Oilers might be in a lot of trouble by then.
I don't think they will be, but go on.
I do, because this is my reasoning. I think this team is still a very good team without Conor McDavid.
Yeah.
The D-core has its issues, and it is what it is. You have to live with it because there's nothing coming in.
Right.
They can't pass. They're not very good defensively. Goaltending is up and down.
Goaltending has been one of their strong suits this season.
But for me, why I'm worried about this team was playing not very good hockey, even with Conor McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
So now that he's out, it's either going to go one of two ways. They're going to come together and say, let's turn this damn season around because we haven't been very good, or they're going to mail it in like they did on Monday night in Columbus. So, and I have a fear for that because the core of this team continually starts slow, continually has bad games. I don't know if they can, Tom, and call me negative or whatever. That's my opinion. I think this team might be in a little bit of trouble because even with McDavid, they weren't playing good hockey, and I don't think you can just flip a switch and this team's going to get it going. Because we played all the goals on Monday, and it was a disinterested team.
Very
the
much
lack
so.
of awareness in the defensive zone, not just by the defensemen.
All 5-man unit. That's where they struggle.
Terrible. So I'm concerned, and I'm trying to look for lines here for the Oilers just to see. Here we go.
What do you got?
Do you want him, Tom?
Yes, I do.
This is courtesy of
Robert Bartholomew Stauffer.
BS down in Nashville.
Lay it on me, brother.
Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Skinner, RNH, Hyman. And then your third line is Janmark, Enrique Brown. And then Philp between Perry and then kind of rotating Gazzola and Derek Ryan. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Dermott. I don't know why they keep switching that up. And then Kulak and then Emberson and Stetcher rotating. Calvin Pickard in the starter's net.
All right, then.
Okay.
I have no issue with anything here in this lineup.
No, I mean, I don't know about Podkolzin, but
That's fair.
I don't know who else you put up there. Can I ask you this, Tom?
Absolutely.
Because yesterday we were talking about it, and a lot of our listeners, because we said, give us your top 6 without McDavid.
Okay.
And a lot of our listeners bumped up Enrique and put Nuge on the wing. And I kind of like that.
I don't mind that either.
Because I don't think Nuge can run his own line as a centerman.
I don't think he needs to run his own line as a centerman.
Okay.
Why does the centerman always need to run the line?
Not run it, but sorry. So maybe
Drive the line?
drive the line.
Why does the centerman always need to drive the line?
But not even
That's groupthink.
not even for centerman, but Nuge him. Like, because he's a veteran, he's a hell of a player, two-way guy, can do it all. He's had a slow start.
Yes.
But can he drive his own line? Whether he's at center or wing.
I think we know that the answer is he cannot drive his own line the way a McDavid and Draisaitl can. Can he be effective as a centerman on a line? Yeah. Like, if he has good wingers that he plays off of and they read with each other well or read off of each other well, can that be an effective line even if the centerman isn't driving the line? 100%. 100%. What a centerman needs to do, start with the face-off, win the majority of those. Secondly, be responsible defensively. That usually means being the first man back.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is a centerman has to be able to distribute the puck when he gets it to the wingers. That's what a good centerman, those are the essentials of a good centerman. Driving a line is something a McDavid can do. It's something a Draisaitl can do. It's something a lot of premier centermen can do. I 100% agree with that, but not every centerman in the NHL, and some damn good ones, drives their line. There are wingers who drive their line, but just because a Nugent Hopkins doesn't drive his line doesn't mean he can't be an effective centerman.
Yes, fair enough. And I just liked it because I thought if you put Enrique there with Nuge, then you have two good centermen, two good guys that can flip-flop, right?
Sure.
Face-offs, all that. But at the end of the day, the lines are what we thought they would be. Podkolzin, sure. I mean, I'm kind of with Reed where I don't really know what he does.
He skates really hard.
And he throws some hits for a team that doesn't throw a lot of hits.
That's a good fourth liner.
Yeah, and maybe he finds some magic with Draisaitl, and then Hernan sitting here like the jabroni he is, and I'm eating my words, but I'll say that's highly unlikely.
I could see Podkolzin, 5-on-5 situations, especially early in game. Podkolzin goes out there with Arvidsson and Draisaitl. Depending on the scenario the Oilers find themselves in the second and third, more so the third, in my opinion, he's bumped down to the bench and fourth line and does not get a regular shift. And somebody gets bumped up. Maybe it's a Henrique. Maybe a Brown is having a nice night and they shorten the bench if they're in a scenario where they need a goal.
Yeah. Why? I get not letting guys sit out for too long, but I for the life of me, I can't understand why they keep flip-flopping. Listen, Stetcher and Emberson and Dermott, none of them have stood out. None of them have been fantastic where it's like, well, they got to stay in the lineup. But for me, Stetcher works in the top six or in the bottom pairing or whatever, wherever he is. Yeah.
Starting six defenseman.
Like if Dermott sits out for 5, 6, who cares, guys? Like, stop worrying about people's feelings. Play your best damn 6 defenseman. And for me, Stetcher's been one of their better ones of a not very sexy group, Tom. Maybe I'm being too dramatic. I don't know.
No, I like it. For a Wednesday, this is enjoyable.
They're 4-5-1, and I'm losing my marbles over here. And I will say this, too, and maybe you won't agree with me. I don't think this was a scheduled start for Calvin Pickard. I think Knobloch looked at that last game and said, we're going to go with Calvin Pickard here.
And that's fine. That's why you have a reliable backup.
And did he win in Nashville last time? Was it Pickard?
Did he win in Nashville last time?
Yeah. Earlier in the year. Was it Pickard?
I think he did win in Nashville last time.
I think it was Pickard.
Let me look at this.
Maybe our nasties will know.
Try to remember here. I will go to the Oilers game log and look up Nashville and who got the start that night. It was indeed Pickard.
Pickard.
27 shots, 2 goals allowed in the win.
That was our first win of the season, right? No, second. Second, yeah. Sorry, man.
No, it's all good.
Just fired up, man. This team, man. I tell you, guys.
Text us, 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat. Yes, what else?
A lot of questions about why wasn't Savoy called up. And I think they called up the 2 right guys right now.
Yeah. I would assume it's to give him more seasoning.
Mm-hmm. He'll be up eventually.
I would think so.
Yeah.
He had 3 points in 6 games when I did the check-in with the Condors. I think it was yesterday. So too did Philp. Gazzola, I think 4 points if I'm recollecting that correctly. But I think the veteran savvy of Gazzola, safe play. They actually have 13 forwards on the roster for the first time this season. And then Philp deserves the call-up. Plus, big body centerman, takes face-offs, right shot guy. The expectation for Philp, though, I'm curious to see how that goes because, Philp that we saw in the preseason, which was excellent.
Yeah.
And put him into this scenario where he's going to get his first taste of an actual NHL game.
Yeah.
That was great. That was a fantastic story. But the type of hockey he saw 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, is different from what's happening right now in the NHL. It's a step up. It's quicker, better players you're going up against. And he's only going to get, maybe 9 or 10 minutes tonight.
Yeah, let's go into watching Noah Philp and our thoughts and everything with low expectations. Because if he does do really, really well, Tom, and chips in and gets an assist or a goal, then you're happy about it. But for anyone thinking that Gazzola and Noah Philp are going to come and turn this team around, listen, if the Oilers go on a run here and they win more than they lose, they'll be a part of it 100%. But these guys ain't turning this team around. That's the big boys here.
Just fill in. Be adequate at what you do. Build off of there. I think that's a best case scenario. But I'm excited for Noah Philp.
Yeah.
Phenomenal story. He didn't play last year. Had amazing training camp. And here he is. And there's a lot of things about his game that you like. And you heard the coaching staff talking about it, especially late in training camp and preseason. Big body, right shot guy. Has some speed. Has the size. There are good intangibles there with Noah Philp. But temper the expectations, especially in a fourth line role. Okay, I'm going to read out those lines one more time. Then we're going to get to your text, 780-218-9999. Bob put this out there from Nashville. Draisaitl between Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Nugent-Hopkins centering Skinner and Hyman. Henrique with Janmark and Brown. And then you had Noah Philp centering Corey Perry on one side, and Gazzola and Derek Ryan are rotating on the left. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Dermott, Kulak with Emberson / Stetcher. So Emberson and Stetcher rotating with Brett Kulak. Calvin Pickard in the starter's net. What say you about this? We want to know. 780-218-9999 and via the nasty chat. Let's go to Troll. Troll talking about Nugent-Hopkins. Troll says, driving a line is something a first overall pick should be able to do. Well, what about a first overall pick that's a defenseman or a goalie? I know that's low-hanging fruit. I apologize.
And it's over.
Troll, we're talking about
years.
This 13 and a half, almost 14 years ago.
He's the different player, yeah.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has scored 100 points in a season. He has played wing. He has played center. I think asking him to drive a line, quote-unquote, when we know what he is and what he's capable of, having watched him since 2011, I think is not unreasonable is not the right word, but misguided. Asking him to play good and effective hockey, totally within reason.
To be a leader, to lead by example, that's, yes. But
defensively smart, win faceoffs, try to provide a little bit of offense, distribute to your wingers. Be effective.
He's not Leon Draisaitl. He's not Mikko Rantanen. He's not that kind of player. And even when he came in, outside of his rookie year, you knew he wasn't going to be on the upper echelon of first round.
He scored 100 points 2 years ago.
No, but that's
He's
what I
70, 80-point guy now. Like,
yeah, but he's not like I said, he's not Leon Draisaitl.
he's not the engine.
No, hell no.
He's not the engine.
And I'm seeing a few. I've seen him on the inbox and on the Nasty Chat trades for 97. Like, Tommy, sorry, this is not my show.
Who
but
is doing that?
I am not going to go there.
No, it's ridiculous.
So save yourself the time and don't text that in because I'm not.
Like, actual multiple people?
Yes, I've seen it multiple times.
Like,
maybe two.
Just fans?
Well, just I don't people listening.
Random
to
people.
Yeah. And sure, but we're not gonna go there just yet, boys and girls.
I had somebody text in, I think it was on the post-game show, saying, do they think that this situation, the Oilers' slow start, and however this injury goes with McDavid will affect his willingness to sign a contract? Like, some people are already, like, jumping over a monster chasm to draw these conclusions.
I mean,
it might just be fueled by some libations, thoughts like this, and then people text them in. But come on, guys,
this team's going to miss their captain, the best player in the world, for the most of the month of November. Things can go sideways, Tom. But for me, this team is still good. I'm not using that as an excuse. This team is still, they have far too much talent, especially up front, to not be a playoff team.
They score 2 goals a game.
I know, but that's going to go out. Yeah. I mean, if you look at their stats, goals for, goals against, all the special teams, the save percentage, it's terrible, Tom.
It's bad.
Will it get better? I think it will, but how much? What if it doesn't? And I heard JS read that yesterday, and he goes, what if it doesn't get better?
Well, what are they shooting at? Just around 6% overall. I think it's somewhere around 4%, 5-on-5. That's one where it's like, eventually some of those will start to go in. This is not a team that's supposed to score just 2 goals a game and allow 2.5 per game.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling how bad they've been in certain areas, and it will get better. But I think it's a valid question to ask, how much better? Because, I don't know, man. This team just needs to figure it out.
Only one team this season has scored less goals than the Edmonton Oilers.
Sharks?
Anaheim.
Ooh, yeah, Anaheim never scores, man. Ooh.
And the second, Edmonton and the New York Islanders are tied at 22 goals apiece this year. The Islanders have played 1 less game than Edmonton. They're not going to, McDavid or not, hovering around the 2 goals a game mark or just over, I think is going to change, and in a positive way for the Oilers. So,
and you need a lot more from everyone.
Everyone.
And I'm not just going to put this on one guy. What is it? How many guys dress? 20?
Yeah.
They all have to be better. Every single one of them. The coaching has to be better. Everything. And now Knobloch, for me, I'm not going to sit here and I like that 97 insult. That's ridiculous. But Knobloch now is going to have to be creative, because if your lines ain't going and you're getting pumped like you did on Monday, you can't go nuclear anymore. You can't. What are you going to do?
There's no more nuclear option.
No. So now, your only move when everybody's healthy is out the window. What are you going to do?
Get them to dig in and you yell.
Because the expectations are high for Coach K. Last year he came in on a team that was struggling.
Why are we even talking about? I've seen people saying like, oh, if he lost that game and it was a different situation with a different team, that would be a game where you'd fire your coach.
No,
it's like, we're 10 games into the season, they're 4-5-1. They got their asses kicked by Columbus. Did you not see some of the scores last night?
Yeah. 8-1, 8-2.
There's been some blowouts against some really good teams this year.
But I'm not saying, what I'm saying is there's no coaching change coming here.
No,
not this year, not next year, not the year after that. Like, all I'm saying is Coach K now, like, he could do no wrong. But now people are already bringing that up, which I find, a little bit crazy. But all I'm saying is now he doesn't have the best player in the world. So I want to see what he's going to do when his team is stinking up the joint.
I'm curious, and I want to hear your thoughts too, if you're listening and watching, 780-218-9999, and then Nasty Chat. I'm curious to see, and I'm looking at this from a positive light, if this does force these guys, the Nugent Hopkins, the Hymans, the Skinners, and the Arvidssons, and the Henriques, and the Browns, to elevate their game. If they find it within them to just say, you know what, I can't just look at 97 down the bench and go, well, I'm kind of not going tonight, but I think he'll tie up the game for us. I wonder if this forces these guys to just buckle down, rein it in, decide to take over a game, flex their muscles on teams, because these are good players that we're talking about here. It could. I think it could happen. If Draisaitl decides to put together a strong 200-foot game rather than show indifference when his line mates aren't passing it to him, or if he's not happy that the puck doesn't get to him in the offensive zone and he just kind of coasts back to... I wonder if, and maybe it will, motivate him to put his head down and bust his ass all over the ice and be the driver of this team.
That's why tomorrow's game, the first 10 minutes is what I'm watching, and I want to see how this team responds. I want to see if they come out and they're all over Nashville and they get a couple early goals, if there's passion, if there's urgency. If they come out flat, that's going to say a lot. Yeah. So tomorrow, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to see what this team is made of. And it's going to be 2-3 weeks, like you said, Tommy, of no Conor McDavid. So it's time for a lot of guys to step up. A lot of guys making a lot of money that need to be better.
Go earn it.
100%.
All right, this is the Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. We had a couple of great nights for the pre- and post-game at Boston Pizza Westgate. And I'll give a shout-out to Kurt and Tony and the crew over at Boston Pizza Westgate, who do have a Halloween party for the kids happening from 3 to 6. On Thursday, they have face painting, which I know you love. Poke a ghost. The first 20 kids can poke a ghost and score a special treat. And then they also have the fizzy worm slush, raspberry puree with citrus slush and 7-Up, topped with whipped cream and strawberry sauce with a gummy worm on top. Book your reservation, 780-481-6822. Boston Pizza, always a great time. And we had just a tremendous and fun show there the other night, Sunday, Monday, which was fantastic. So, all right, let's get to some texts because I saw a bunch that were coming in. Piss Jug. What a name.
Good dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's, when I was with the Elks in Saskatchewan, he's the producer for the away team.
Yes.
So I always saw him there. He's
and
good
he used
dude.
to work for the Saskatoon Blades.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. His name's Pat. Pat Janik says, hey, Tom and Hernan, it's Piss Jug here. How will the Oilers look without McDavid, and can Leon Draisaitl continue to step up? He's got 6 goals. The rest of the forwards today have 6 goals combined. Jeff Skinner, 2. Henrik, Perry, Nuge, Connor Brown, 1 each. That's it. Piss Jug, they're going to have to step up.
Yeah. There's no choice.
That's why I said that. I'm like, what if, looking at it from an optimistic point of view, this does motivate the rest of the group to pull up their bootstraps and get to work? Score some ugly goals. Grind and muck in front of the net.
Yeah. Carmen says, Drager said yesterday Bowman has gotten more aggressive of finding the D-man. Is this legit or no? I mean, I could have said
probably,
that.
But like, if Stan Bowman, let's look at it this way. Like, Dregs is not going to put BS out there just to stir the pot. I know Oilers news always gets coast to coast, but clicks, pardon me. But if you heard that Stan Bowman is just now dialing it up or starting to dip into trying to shake something loose to get his defense to be better, I'd be like, well, why wasn't he doing this a month ago in training camp? Or as soon as training camp ended and he realized that Josh Brown is an AHL player, that Travis Dermott, who is a PTO guy, and Ty Emberson, who had 30 NHL games under his belt, plus Troy Stetcher, wouldn't be up to snuff. If he wasn't working the phones a month ago, as soon as we turned the calendar to October and the season was upon us, and he wasn't putting in the calls, I'd be like, well, what are you doing, man? Like, get on it. Start massaging those contacts and working the phones to see what's out there or what might shake loose.
There's no way Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson in September, leading into October, thought that this decor is good enough. There's no way, Tom. You've been in the hockey world this long. There's no way you looked at the 7 defensemen you have and said, yeah, this is a Stanley Cup winning
these guys are going to do it.
There's no way, Tom. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did.
No, I think you're logically correct.
But like Carmen says, like Drager said, he's working the phones. But I think that's obvious. He should be. This team is not good enough yet.
Yeah.
I think the team that finished Game 7 to the team that the Oilers have now even at the start of the season, the one that finished Game 7 is way better than this one.
Yes, absolutely. We even said it in our rankings of importance here on the Oil Stream going into training camp. We had asked the question, is the team that the Oilers have now on their roster on paper better than the one that they had at the end of last season? The answer is no. No, and that's kind of the pain of losing players and the salary cap and dealing with the Stanley Cup final loss is there's going to be turnover, and that team that got there was clicking at such a high level. This one's got to, fire up the engine again, shake off the rust, some new parts that need to be amalgamated, maybe not as good as the old parts, and they need to find themselves. And they've kind of waddled their way through the first 10 games.
I'm not optimistic that they're going to land a top 4 defenseman here by the end of November. If they do, I will sit here and applaud them because that's very tough to do in the NHL. The Oilers you got to understand, the Oilers are approaching this in a position of weakness. Everybody knows what the Oilers are and what they want, and everybody's after them because they're a Stanley Cup contender. They
Look
got
at
Conor
St. Louis
McDavid.
and what they did.
Yeah. So do you think if teams are just going to give the Oilers the top 4 defensemen for scraps, it's not going to happen.
Let's just do this exercise here real quick.
Okay.
You're a GM. Say you're the GM of you're Bill Guerin. You're in Minnesota.
Okay.
Stan Bowman or Jeff Jackson calls you, says, hey, I see you guys have one extra defenseman. That guy's sitting out every third game. We think we might be able to use him. What would it take to get said defenseman? If you're Bill Guerin, how are you responding to the Oilers, Jeff Jackson or Stan Bowman, if they approach you like that?
I'm probably asking for a lot for a mid-tier defenseman. And say, well,
it's only October 30th, and this is what you want?
If you guys want him, this is my price tag, and you either pay it or you don't. It's not my problem.
Right. Look at Oli Mata gets traded from Detroit to Utah for a third rounder yesterday, and Mata was like a healthy scratch for a bunch of games.
Yeah, Oli Mata's he's not that's not what the Oilers need.
No, and I'm not even saying that.
No,
for
I know what you're saying.
But like you're in a position of weakness, like you said. So
it's
good. He's working the phones. He should be.
He should be. Damn straight, he should be.
All right, let's get to some more text. 780-218-9999. It is the Oil Stream inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio at Popeyes. They have launched their boneless wings, which is obviously a continuation of their bone-in wings platform, which allows the choice between the ghost pepper bone-in wings or the all-white meat boneless wings with a milder flavor. And with the success of their current wings platform, they're continuing to lean on their existing sauce offerings, including signature hot, honey garlic, honey barbecue, and garlic parm, as well as classic. I would like to suggest to Popeyes to bring in the Latino heat version and flavor.
I like them spicy.
Boom. There we go. Popeyes, Louisiana Kitchen. Let's go to this one from Eden, who texts in and says, hey, boys, fun stat on Nugent Hopkins this year. He's 61% on the dot, 35-1, 22 lost. That's a good sign. And he's played wing. He's played some center. Sure. Good sign. So, I don't want to be pessimistic. I want to be optimistic. Sure. I look at this roster and I go, there's still good players all over this forward unit. The defense, not as nice of a picture. Goaltending has been steady. Not every game. Certainly not the other night against Columbus. Certainly not the first night of the season. But for the most part, has given them a chance to win. The defense in front of them, terrible as a 5-man unit for the most part this season. But I want to be optimistic.
Yeah.
Completely opposite of what happened last year, where they went 2-9-1, and I said the season was over. Let's go to Justin of Balgoni. Justin of Balgoni writes, it's tough for Skinner to look good when you have a tremendous amount of defensive lapses in front of you. If the Oilers bolster their D, I bet the goaltending comes around. But still, Skinner needs to make a save where he shouldn't. Justin of Balgoni, fair points.
Yes.
Very fair points. But we literally just witnessed Stu Skinner make saves where he shouldn't against Carolina and against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He had a bad night the other night among many on that route. There was not one guy that game where I was like, you played good tonight, if you're looking at it from an
player of the game was Stetcher, and just because he was even on the night.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he was selected.
It was like a pity player of the game that Hernan gave out.
And it's a good point on Skinner. And yes, Skinner doesn't have a very good defense or a team that plays well defensively in front of him. In 2 games, he was excellent. He made big saves. And the last game, he didn't. And I think it's just the consistency that people get frustrated with. He's brilliant one game, the next game he falls off. So let's just wait and see. I'm still not ready to give up on Skinner. Not even close. Not even close. I think he's still fairly young. He's learning. And again, just look at the team in front of him. You're asking a lot. You are.
Okay. Let's go to Brad in Victoria. Brad in Victoria says, I'm with Hernan. The D is such a mess right now, constantly swapping out Nurse's partner. Just leave Stetcher there for a while, see how it goes. Crazy to change what is supposed to be your second pairing every game.
It just drives me crazy. Like, it's not like Stetcher was terrible. Emberson had a rough game. He was pretty bad in Columbus. But just leave Stetcher with Nurse. And if you want to flip-flop Dermott and Emberson on the third pair, but just... And I'm hard on Nurse. But when he has a different partner every second game,
you're not one of the ones who protects him?
Yeah, no, I'm not. But, like, come on, Coach K. Stop worrying about Travis Dermott's feelings or Ty Emberson's. If they don't play for 6 to 10 games, who cares? Do you want to win games or do you want to make sure everybody's happy? This is a Stanley Cup contending team. Stop switching your lines and I get it now because McDavid's out, but defensively, leave your 6. Roll with it. He did it last year because, well, he didn't really have... I mean, Broberg was the 7th.
Broberg was the 7th for a bit. They sent him down. Yeah.
Yeah, like they rolled 6 because it's all they had, but he had no issues with it. And some nights Cece was bad, some nights Nurse was bad, some nights Vinny was bad. Like, just stick with your 6 and roll with it.
McLovin texts in, Tommy, is my sarcastic shooting percentage text now being taken seriously? We are doomed. McLovin, thank you for providing a little bit of fodder. Jason in Leduc says, my God, people, they are 4, 5, and 1. Book an appointment with your therapist and settle the expletive down. Kootenai Time Tim. Kootenai Time Tim, thank you for the photo. Kootenai Time Tim does photography on the sidelines, CFL.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know Tim.
Didn't he shoot the Estes?
Was that Tim that was there?
I think it was Tim.
Maybe it was Tim.
Let us know. Maybe.
Tim says, if Pickard has an unreal game Thursday in net, do we see Stu and him start to split 50-50 duties? I don't think so. Mm-mm. Again, that's forgetting that Stu Skinner put together like 3 solid starts in a row. I'm going to give him Dallas. I'm giving him Dallas. The one bad goal.
Yeah.
That was a game the Oilers could only score once.
Mm-hmm. They were all over them for 40 minutes.
And then the second and third goal in Dallas that afternoon, defensive breakdowns and screw-ups that led to those. Very good in Carolina. Gets the shutout on Friday against Pittsburgh. And we're less than a week later, and people are asking if the goalie situation is a question mark. And if Pickard is the guy. Pickard's not the guy.
No.
He will not be the guy this year.
He's a true backup. Okay.
So, Kootenai Time Tim, I would say no. Bones says he's always working the phone lines in Fantasy League and says any news on why they brought up Philp and Gazzola. I think we went over that. Just Philp earned it, and then Gazzola, veteran presence. And then we'll see. I think we'll see Savoy at some point.
I think that maybe why they called up 2, Tommy?
To give them options.
Yeah, okay. I think that's where he was kind of going with that.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he have to call up 2 players? But which is good now. I like it because now the guy sitting out wants to get back in there, and the guys in the lineup want to stay in the lineup, and there's someone pushing you.
Sask Bill via the inbox 780-218-9999 says, I like Henrique. Was glad that the Oilers traded for him. He looked so slow to me. Then his line got chemistry in the playoffs. Then everybody was happy. He re-signed in the summer. Now he looks slow again. That's Sask Bill, who's saying he's listening intently. I think he's been all right. He hasn't been tilting the ice offensively. He had the 1 goal, which was a nice backhander top shelf. This is where a guy like Henrique will have more of an opportunity to step up. He's a veteran guy, had a 50-plus point season last year. I know he was on a bad Anaheim team, probably playing top 6 minutes. Now, there's a lot of guys in front of him here. But with McDavid out, they're going to need somebody to win some faceoffs. They're going to need somebody to chip in with offense. They're going to need depth scoring. And that probably lends more opportunity to an Adam Henrique.
Yeah, he's one of the players on my list that needs to step up here. He said all the right things. Like you said, he had a good start to the season. He's tailed off. You don't really notice him. Connor Brown, too, had a break last game. You got to start finishing, bro.
Like, how do you really feel?
Enough is enough with Connor Brown. Like, yeah, he's healthy now. And outside of and listen, I was praising him the first 4 or 5 games, but eventually he's got 1 point, man. -4.
All right, let's see what's going on in the nasty chat. This one from Easy E says, I'm a big Kulak fan, but could have traded him to upgrade the right D and keep Broberg. CC trade also not well executed. See, this I understand where Easy E is coming from, but Kulak as your 5th defenseman, 3rd pairing left side guy, I think is just perfectly placed.
Yes,
don't expect the world from him.
No.
He's solid most nights. He generally doesn't make that many mistakes. Has he been good this year compared to years past? You could probably say he's dipped a little bit with his performance. He had a slow start last year, got better and better as the season progressed. I like Kulak. I'm biased. I think he's good in that spot. I think it's perfectly suited to him. I don't know. I wouldn't have traded him.
For a bottom pairing left shot defenseman, Kulak, you're not picking up anyone better out there.
Yeah.
So just Kulak is the least of their problems right now in that decor. Does he have off nights? Yeah, a lot of players that play third pair have off nights, but I think for me he's steady Eddie there. Just like Nurse, he keeps getting different partners. Sometimes you can see the disconnect. So we'll see who he plays with today. It's either going to be Stetcher or Emberson. So.
If you missed the news, Conor McDavid out 2 to 3 weeks with an ankle injury. The Oilers putting out a statement earlier today. The team finishing up practice at Bridgestone Arena. If we get some comments from the locker room, we will pass those along your way. 780-218-9999. It is the Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. Tom Gazzola, Hernan, Salas with you. How do you think this group bounces back tomorrow night? I know we're going to talk about the Predators and the Oilers tomorrow, but do you think that they are going to dial it in after getting their asses handed to them in Columbus, or do you think we're going to see more of the same? Are you concerned about how lethargic they are? I know you've talked about that throughout the last couple of weeks, but do you think that this might actually spark them?
If I'm being honest, Tommy, I really don't know. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they came out and laid an egg. I wouldn't be surprised if they came out and jumped to a 3-0 lead. Because this team is so up and down, I just don't know. And that's... I wish I could give you a straight answer, but I really don't know. I really don't know. On Monday, when they lost their captain 37 seconds in, they decided not to compete. They decided that let's just get through the 60 minutes and get out of here. That was a choice. And we showed 5 of the 6 goals yesterday on highlights.
I was listening.
And that's a team that had no care in the world about playing in that game, defending the details. It was bad. So if I'm being honest, I don't know. I don't know what we see tomorrow.
I think they rein it in. I honestly do. I think they feel shame. Their head was already in Nashville when they were playing that game in Columbus. I think they bounced back strong. They've had a couple of days. They got to go and have fun. They had a day of work today.
They also, Tony Brar sent out power play units. Do you want them?
I want to get to that because somebody asked. This is from Jack Michaels is what I'm looking at right now. Ekholm and Bouchard on the points.
Don't like that.
Draisaitl with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman is the first unit. What do you got for the second unit?
Second unit is Arvidsson, Skinner, Henrique, Perry, and Darnell Nurse.
First unit makes sense to me.
Sure.
Why don't you like it?
I would have preferred the one defenseman because they work well with that setup. With Bouchard just on the point, setting up for the one-timer. When it's 2, it just changes the dynamic of that power play. So I would have preferred, instead of Ekholm being on there, you either throw Skinner or Arvidsson in there and then put Ekholm with 25. That's just my opinion. Maybe it works. Maybe it gets them going. They scored on the power play in Columbus, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Okay.
So they have vaulted themselves into 26th in the league at 13.8%. 4 power play goals on 29 opportunities. I'll disagree with you on this.
Okay.
I don't mind Ekholm and Bouchard manning the points with Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and Hyman up front. Here's why. The power play has been dog crap this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And all of it has been that focus that you talked about with, the 1D man and it being Bouchard, and everything flows through McDavid. It ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't working. This might, and listen, I know it's a might, this might force them to actually finally simplify on the power play. Maybe it eliminates the slingshot zone entry. Maybe they're going to have to actually bust their ass to get into the zone. A little chip and chase. Outman the opposition. Go and dig that puck out. Maybe it forces them to do that. Work for it. Then, when they get established in the zone, you got 2 D-men there because they've been giving up a lot of odd man rushes and breakaways this year because of absolutely brutal play on the blue line on the man advantage. Now you got 2 D-men there. That's a warning that you guys have been playing like dog crap on the power play, too risky, not sharp and focused. So now you got 2 D-men there, and it's going to force them to have to go to more of a traditional, old-school umbrella. Draisaitl will probably be the half-wall guy controlling the puck for the majority of it.
Yeah.
Fine. That probably eliminates his one-timer. How's that work this year? No. So they get back to simplicity.
Yeah.
Pass, shoot, bang and crash in front of the net. Let Hyman go to work and shovel one in. Maybe Nugent Hopkins finds some garbage around the net. Maybe these guys have all scored garbage power play goals on rebounds and stuff like that. Maybe this, with the actual personnel change, 2 D-men back there, a more shooting-style power play as opposed to passing it into the net, sometimes getting a Bouchard shot, this forces them to go back to that, the simplicity of an old-school power play, and they find success because they have to work a little bit harder, and they can't just flip it back to Conor McDavid, who could take it, work it down low to one side, work it up high, go to the other side, switch positions. This forces them to simplify. So, again, I'm being optimistic. That's my theme today and motivation. This might actually work because it makes them have to just go back to the basics of a damn power play.
No, you make a hell of a argument for it. So, yeah, maybe you're right. It simplifies it. McDavid's not looking for Draisaitl every damn time. Bouchard, Ekholm, put the puck on net. Hopefully Hyman's in there screening the goalie. You're right. It might work. And this is exactly maybe what those 3 forwards need, including Evan Bouchard, because Evan Bouchard looks kind of hesitant. He doesn't know what to do out there. And sometimes just take the shot, stop deferring to Draisaitl and McDavid. So, yeah, this might work. Do you think the second unit gets this is more of a split?
Yep. I do think so. That second unit, again, Arvidsson, Skinner, Henrique.
Yeah.
Perry and Nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And then, even for those guys, there's some good skilled players on there.
That's pretty good.
Same thing. Their mantra should be the same. Simplify, more of a traditional shooting style umbrella. But you got Darnell Nurse back there.
So my point is, if let's say Nugent Hyman's out there, what's their line again? They're with who are they with?
Nugent Hopkins?
Yeah. What are the lines again?
With Arvidsson, or was it Hyman and
it's just
Skinner?
Yeah. So let's say RNH, Hyman, and Skinner are out there. They're finishing their shift. They get a power play. Are you jumping to PP2 right away?
Probably not.
No.
Because you're getting Leon out there and you're getting Bouchard out there.
And Ekholm. And then, so would you still swap 93, and 18 out? Or would you just say, go out there, boys? I know you're tired, but...
I'd probably let them go out there.
Okay.
I would think so.
That's fair.
Yeah. What do we got? 780-218-9999. We've got 10 minutes left. This is the Oil Stream brought to you by Boston Pizza. Tom Gazzola, Hernan, Salas inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. I saw a lot of texts, actually. Sean, Stop calling him Coach K. There's only one Coach K. It's not him, Sean says.
He's not the Coach K from basketball. Is not my Coach K. This is Coach K. So, don't tell me what to do, bro. I know Maddie doesn't like it either, but whatever.
Oh, that's so good. Waddy in Cloverdale says, "Isn't Kulak second in goals scored with 2?"
Empty netter too.
Yes, but he had a great night in Nashville. Maybe he awakens again and
put him
gets
on the power play.
Put him on the power play. Let's go to Shovelhead. Said, "If here's something to discuss. Would you trade? No. Oh, Shovelhead trying to trade Draisaitl from Ricard.
No.
Would Colorado do it? The answer is no on both ends. That's how valuable good defensemen are. Shovelhead. Yes, we know. If other teams are getting better defending the power play, a change is necessary. I agree with you there, Shovelhead. All right, let's see what's going on in the nasty chat. K. Ryan says the Oilers do nothing but shoot blanks.
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody can see that. So, what concerns you most, the power play or the PK?
PK.
Yeah, PK's been bad.
It's terrible. It leaked another one the other night.
Yeah, right away, 2 minutes in.
Yeah.
I mean, they were better for the rest of it because they went 1 for 6 or something.
But the damage was done.
Damage was done. That's what I mean. When it mattered, they couldn't get the kill.
No,
At 6-0, you're killing off 2 penalties. Who cares? But, I mean, they care, obviously, but it's at that point, like, whether you kill it or don't, it's not going to make a difference.
penalty kill is terrible this year.
But, well, you lost 2 key guys defensively on it, who I wasn't high on, and I'm still not, but obviously they're better. Obviously they're showing that they were a key part of the PK, and CC and Vinny. Up front, Fogle, McLeod. You should still be good, man.
Execute.
Yeah.
They don't. They lose faceoffs. They miss assignments. They bobble pucks. Sometimes they don't get a save. PK's at 62%.
That's terrible. Didn't they start bad last year too?
They were terrible last year
On the PK.
but the lowest they got was 28th.
Okay.
If I recall correctly. I think it was around right around the coaching change. I think it slipped to 28th. Cass and I with Trev, we were talking about it every post game. Power play or PK gives up 2 tonight. PK gives up 1. I think there was only like 3 or 4 games in the first 15 where they didn't get scored on, and it's very similar to this year. And that's what's kind of messed up about this year is even though the expectations higher, some of the same themes have shown up early on this season as last year. Now they have a couple more wins at 4 already. They're ahead of last year's pace. And then, like I joke, they essentially played a 69-game season and went on an absolute tear. Is a 16-game winning streak coming this year? Probably not. Could they pull off an 8-game or 2? Sure.
And they might have to. Hopefully
not.
not.
You win tomorrow, you're 5-5-1.
5-5-1, yeah, that's a big one. Then you go into Calgary on Sunday.
Yes.
And you gotta win that. That team's lost 3 straight now.
There you go. They're falling back down to earth.
It's crazy. The Oilers are only 2 points behind them, and they started 5-0 and no, what was it? Yeah, 5-0.
5-0-1.
Yeah, it's crazy. But Calgary, what I respect about Calgary and Vancouver, they're always up to play Edmonton. And Edmonton sometimes matches that. Sometimes they're like, we're good. Like Vancouver is, for me, they're the best team for me in that division. It's not even close. And they get Demko back.
Vegas is running away with it early.
Yeah.
They're at 7-2-1.
The Oilers are not close to those teams right now. Can they be? Sure. Should they be? Yes. But right now they're not.
No.
You watch those 2 teams play, man. Vancouver is never out of a game, ever. They've lost 1 game in regulation, Tom.
Yeah.
Without their star goaltender.
And
Pettersson having 1 goal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, if the Oilers lost Skinner, man, they'd be in huge trouble. Where in Vancouver, it doesn't matter who's in that. It doesn't.
You love Kevin Lankinen.
I do.
It's weird. All right, we've got a couple more minutes. If you have any text, 780-218-9999. We do have lines. We do have power play units. We went over them. If you didn't catch it, Conor McDavid out for 2 to 3 weeks with an ankle injury. No break on that ankle. So we should see him. We could see him by November 16th in Toronto in his hometown. That's when I'm guessing he's back.
It's going to be about 12. If you go 3 weeks, it's about 12 games that he's going to miss.
It's a lot of hockey.
Can the Oilers survive those 12 games? I mean,
yes, they can.
If it's 12 games, Tom, are you okay with 6 wins? Just 500?
Yep.
Okay.
They're in the mix.
That's a low bar, but I'll go. I think 6 is fine.
At some point, they're going to have to go on a heater. But
yeah,
if they can win 6 in the next 12, sure. It's not great, but sure. You're kind of right there in the mix.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. I think last year McDavid missed 6 games. They won 1 of those.
Yeah.
So
one of them was the last game of the season. Remember, that was the final Coyotes game ever.
Yeah, that's right. And you knew they were gonna win. I mean, Coyotes, right?
And then the Oilers were just looking at the playoffs already.
Yeah. So can't read too much into that, but yeah.
The other 5. I think they won the first one without McDavid. I think it was a win in Vegas. And then...
I think you're right, yeah.
I think they smacked Vegas around. It was like 5-1 or something.
Yeah, we were all pretty impressed, and then it went down for a bit. Yeah.
Oh, well. We'll see how they handle it now. Again, positive vibes. Manifest positivity. See how they do. The lines, again, if you didn't catch it, Stoff had them. It is Draisaitl between Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Nugent-Hopkins with Skinner and Hyman between them. Henrique centering Janmark and Brown, so that line reunited. And then you had Noah Philp set to make his NHL debut tomorrow after a very good training camp with either Gazzola or Ryan on his left and Corey Perry on his right. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Dermott, and then Kulak with either Emberson or Stetcher. And Calvin Pickard was working in the starters' net today in Nashville. Nanso, you guys have EST afternoons coming up. I heard Joaquin Gage. He is in studio. What is coming up on the show today?
Yeah, we'll obviously talk a lot about the McDavid injury, the lines, the power play lines, what to expect. Jamin Pelly from the Edmonton Elks will join us in studio at 1:20. We got Hernan's World and James Lynch, MMA journalist. You can find him on Lynch on Sports on YouTube. He's based out of Vancouver, does a great job covering MMA. He's going to join us at 2:30. He had some scheduling conflicts, so he'll join us a little bit later. But yeah, have some fun, on a non-Oiler game day, but we still got a lot to talk to. And Elks, a lot of All-Stars. There's rumblings on the president could be coming down.
It's getting juicy.
It's coming down soon by what it's being...
Jay Milne had it tomorrow.
Reported out there. Yeah, Jay Milne said expect the press conference. So we're waiting on further news on that. So loaded show.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be fun.
All right. A couple texts to wrap things up here on the Oil Stream. X-Ray J says, watching the interviews from Nashville, players constantly talk about their high level of confidence. Is it possible this team is simply too confident? What would you say, Nancito?
I think this is a team that believes the headlines. I think they get caught
up in them.
Yeah, they get all they start feeling good about themselves after 1 or 2 wins, and then the wheels completely fall off. But then you see them go on heaters and all that. But yeah, this team is it. Tom, this has been going on for years here in Edmonton, where as soon as you say something good, the team kind of goes down, right? So
that's why I always say it's like they can't have nice things here.
No,
with the hockey team. And I feel bad for the fan base because it has to go through heartache and a roller coaster ride of emotions every damn season. Makes it fun to cover, though.
Yeah, why couldn't they be just like Florida or Vegas and just come out? Come out. Yeah, like imagine if right now they're 4-5-1. Imagine they're 7-2, and then
like
in
the
March,
Golden Knights are right now.
And then in March you can take a few games off if you want. But they're the opposite. They start slow and then they got to play playoff hockey for 3 months just to get back in it. It worked last year.
It's torture. Torture. We will have a great show coming up for you with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage, EST afternoons, following us here on the Oil Stream. Nat, so great work. Great work.
Thank you.
Pinch hitting today. Fantastic.
That was fun. I'm a little out of breath.
All right, be ready for tomorrow. Chris Mason, we're looking to line him up for pre- and post-game show. You, me, and our boy Matty
Can't
Casson.
wait, man.
All right, you guys have a great show coming up here. Thanks everyone who texted in, tuned in to this edition of the Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza right out of the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studios. For Hernan, I'm Tom saying thank you. EST Afternoons coming up next. Ciao now.